Beloved, pause for a moment and truly receive this, because this is not random. Out of all the moments you could be living, out of all the voices you could be hearing, you are here right now for a reason. Heaven did not just watch you endure what you went through. It responded. Something shifted in the unseen, something intentional, something decided about you when no one else was looking. This was not a passing thought or a hopeful wish. A decision was made firmly, deliberately in the courts of heaven, and your life is already beginning to reflect it. You may not have language for it yet, but you can feel it. There is a subtle elevation, a quiet change in how you carry yourself, in how situations respond to you. What once weighed you down does not reach you the same way anymore. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Heaven has moved concerning you. While you thought you were simply surviving, God was observing, measuring, and preparing you for more. This is the moment where everything begins to shift, not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. You have been elevated, chosen one, not because of noise, not because of recognition, but because you remained faithful when it would have been easier to break. And now, heaven is answering that faithfulness with promotion. Mornings no longer feel like something you have to push through just to make it to the end of the day. There is a quiet shift within you now, a calm readiness that wasn't there before. You're not waking up in survival mode anymore, bracing yourself for what might go wrong. Instead, there is a steadiness, a grounded sense of being, as if something deep within your spirit has finally settled into truth. You may have noticed it in small moments, the way you pause instead of react, the way certain thoughts no longer spiral the way they used to. Situations that once overwhelmed you now meet a calmer version of you. This is not you becoming distant or disconnected. This is you becoming established. Your inner world is no longer controlled by chaos, but anchored in something deeper. There is peace forming in you that does not depend on circumstances. Even when things are not perfect, you are not shaken the same way. You are thinking more clearly, responding more intentionally, and carrying a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be announced. It's subtle, but it's real. This is what inner alignment feels like. Not loud, not forced, just a steady sense that you are no longer fighting yourself. You are finally at rest within. For a long time, your journey was not something people could easily see or understand. Much of what shaped you happened in quiet, unseen moments. Moments where no one applauded, no one acknowledged, and no one truly knew what it cost you to keep going. You made sacrifices that didn't make sense to others. You walked away from things you could have held on to. You chose peace when conflict would have been easier. And in those moments, when you could have reacted, you chose restraint. There were times you were misunderstood, times you were overlooked, and times you carried weight that was never meant to be visible. You showed up when you were tired, you remained honest when it would have been easier to compromise, and you held on to your integrity even when it felt like it wasn't being rewarded. Those were not ordinary choices. They were defining moments, quiet decisions that revealed who you truly are. You chose silence instead of revenge, not because you were weak, but because something deeper in you refused to become what hurt you. You chose to remain soft in a world that tried to harden you. And even when truth cut deeply, you refused to use it as a weapon against others. That kind of strength does not come from comfort. It is formed through pressure, through testing, through refinement. As Scripture says, "For you, God, tested us. You refined us like silver." Psalm 66:10. That refining process is not easy. It involves heat, pressure, and time. It strips away what is impure and reveals what is real. And that is exactly what your journey has been. Every challenge you faced, every moment you endured, was shaping something within you that could not be built any other way. What you thought was delay was actually preparation. What felt like isolation was actually protection. And what seemed like unanswered moments were times when your character was being strengthened beyond what you could see. You were not being overlooked, you were being refined. What makes your journey different is not that you avoided pain, it's how you responded to it. The weight you carried, the moments that could have hardened you, did not turn you into someone bitter or closed off. Instead of becoming cold, you became more aware. Instead of becoming harsh, you became more intentional. Pain did not redefine you, it revealed you. There were opportunities to become like what hurt you. You could have mirrored the same attitudes, the same reactions, the same patterns, but you didn't. You chose something higher. You chose gentleness, not as weakness, but as strength under control. You chose to remain open, even when it would have been easier to shut down. That decision shaped you in ways that go deeper than surface behavior. It formed your character at its core. Gentleness and strength began to coexist within you. You learned how to stand firm without becoming aggressive, how to speak truth without tearing others down, how to walk away without carrying resentment. That balance is rare, and it cannot be taught through comfort. It is formed through lived experience, through moments where you had to decide who you would be when everything in you wanted to react. This is where your true identity was built, not in moments of ease, but in moments of pressure. Not when everything was going right, but when everything challenged you to stay aligned with who you are meant to be. You were not losing yourself in those seasons. You were becoming more of who you were always meant to be. And now, that identity is no longer fragile. It is rooted, steady, and real. There comes a moment quiet, almost unannounced, when everything you have been through is no longer just a memory, but a qualification. That is the moment you have stepped into now. Heaven has looked over your life, not just at what was visible, but at every hidden detail, every unseen choice, every silent act of endurance, and it has made a decision concerning you. You have been recognized. This is not recognition in the way the world understands it. There is no stage, no applause, no public announcement, but in the unseen, where true authority is established, your life was examined and your spirit was found faithful. And in that place, a statement was made. They can carry more. Not because you were perfect, but because you remained true when it would have been easier to compromise. You thought you were just holding on, just trying to get through each day. But heaven saw something deeper forming within you: maturity, stability, leadership. You were being prepared to handle more weight without losing your identity, to carry influence without becoming consumed by it. That is why the timing matters. This kind of elevation is never rushed. It comes when your foundation is strong enough to sustain what is being placed upon you. And now, something has been entrusted to you. Not just peace, not just clarity, but responsibility. A greater awareness of your words, your presence, your decisions. What you carry now reaches further than before. Your influence holds more weight, even in the smallest interactions. This is what spiritual promotion looks like. Not louder, not more visible, but deeper, more grounded, and more intentional. You were brought into this moment because you are ready, even if part of you still questions it. Heaven has already answered that question. The responsibility you feel is not pressure meant to break you, it is trust being placed in you. And from this point forward, your life will begin to reflect that trust in ways you are only starting to understand. You may not have noticed it all at once, but the evidence of this shift is already showing up in your everyday life. Situations that once overwhelmed you no longer carry the same weight. Where you used to feel drained, anxious, or emotionally pulled in every direction, there is now a calm response that rises naturally within you. You are not forcing it. You are not pretending. It is simply who you are becoming. There was a time when certain conversations would linger in your mind for hours, replaying, analyzing, questioning yourself. Now, you find yourself releasing them more easily. You respond, and then you move forward. Not because you no longer care, but because you are no longer controlled by every emotional current around you. That is strength. That is growth. Even in difficult moments, there is a noticeable steadiness in you. When tension enters a room, you don't absorb it the same way. Instead, you often become the one who stabilizes it. Your presence carries something different now, something quiet, but undeniable. People may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. A sense of ease, of safety, of calm that surrounds you without effort. You are also no longer as easily depleted by others. Interactions that once left you exhausted now feel more balanced. You know when to engage and when to step back. You are no longer overextending yourself to maintain peace. You are the peace. And that changes everything. This is not detachment. This is alignment. Your energy is no longer scattered. It is grounded. Your presence is no longer reactive. It is intentional. And in that, you are becoming a place of rest, not only for yourself, but for those around you as well. This new level will begin to reveal itself in clear and undeniable ways, and you may already be noticing them if you pay close attention. First, in what you no longer allow. There is a quiet but firm resistance rising within you when something no longer belongs in your life. Old habits, unhealthy dynamics, and roles you once tolerated now feel out of place. You don't need long explanations or external validation to step away. Something within you simply knows. What once felt normal now feels misaligned, and you no longer have the desire to force yourself to stay where your spirit does not agree. Second, in who begins to come to you. You may notice that people open up to you more easily, sometimes without even realizing why. Conversations become deeper, more honest. Others sense a safety in you, a presence that does not judge, rush, or dismiss. This is not something you learn through effort. It is something you carry now, a quiet wisdom, a calm understanding that makes people feel seen and heard. Third, in how you hear God. It may not come as loud answers or dramatic moments, but as a steady inner knowing, a clear sense of direction, this way, not that way. Stay here, let that go. It feels grounded, not chaotic. This is not confusion. This is guidance becoming clearer than ever before. With this new level also comes a weight that cannot be ignored. What has been placed on your life is not just influence, it is responsibility. The authority you now carry is not meant to control, dominate, or elevate yourself above others. It is meant to serve, to guide, and to reflect the same grace that was shown to you in your own process. You are not permitted to use your growth as a weapon, not to shame, not to prove a point, not to make others feel smaller. The very strength you have gained must remain anchored in humility. Because what you carry now reaches further than before. Your words, your presence, your decisions, they all hold greater impact. And understand this clearly, God is still watching, not in judgment, but in trust. The same God who observed how you handled pain is now observing how you handle influence. This level is not just about what you receive, but about how you steward it. You were found faithful, not because everything was perfect, but because you remained true when it mattered most. Heaven has already made its decision concerning you, and your life is now beginning to align with that truth. This is your confirmation. If this message has spoken to your spirit, take a moment and receive it fully. Type Amen in the comments as a sign that you accept the new level, the responsibility, and the grace that has been placed on your life.